Welcome back to another ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 YouTube video. We're 4 weeks into this Houston Texans season. We're 4 weeks into the D'Amico Ryans and the CJ Stroud era. And really, the thing that's been on everybody's mind all season since the draft has been were Nick Caserio's moves to draft CJ Stroud and then trade up back to the number 3 pick for Will Anderson. Was it the right move? And I just don't see 4 weeks in how anybody can sit there and still lean towards the negative side of things. Like, the verdict is still out. There's no decision has been made on whether or not it was a good move or a bad move. But with Will Anderson playing the way he is, with CJ Stroud playing the way he is, by the way, CJ Stroud officially only one of 6 quarterbacks in NFL history to average 300 yards with no interceptions in the first 4 games of a season. The only other 5 quarterbacks to do that, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Drew Brees. That's the company
Hall of Famers?
Hall of Famers. That's the company that CJ Stroud is in. So when I look at these 2 guys and these 2 rookies for the Texans and what this team has accomplished through 4 weeks, it's hard for me to be mad at Nick Caserio for making that move.
I was completely on board with the Nick Caserio trades when it happened. I thought that it was a brilliant move. If you'd like 2 players in the draft, given where the franchise has been, and look, last year's draft, not this one, but the year before,
right,
doesn't look spectacular at the moment. Like, at some point, Derek Stingley needs to play some football and stay on the field. His hamstrings are a clear issue for him. But, I mean, to go and get 2 players that you absolutely loved in C.J. Stroud and to back that up with Will Anderson. I know the sack numbers aren't there yet for Will Anderson like everybody would love to see. It's early. They're getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I've tried to find myself keying in on watching him. It feels like he beats whoever's in front of him most times. It's just is he going to get there or not?
Yep.
But to have, you and I talked about this a lot on our first show. CJ Stroud feels like the reason to be back in as a Texans fan. It's been a long time since you've been in as a Texans fan. You felt like you had that with Deshaun Watson, and now there's always the element of luck in sports, and you've got the element of luck back in place of you've got the quarterback in place. The future, there's no telling where it goes. And you know what feels best? And you mentioned like you feel good about the future and everything right now. It feels a lot better when you're 2-2 to talk about giving up those draft picks than when you're 0-2. Because a few weeks ago we were sitting there at 0-2 and going, "Oh God, what happens if this team goes out and sucks this year and the Cardinals have the 1st and 2nd pick in the draft because you're sending it to?" If they're sending the Cardinals the 15th, 16th, 17th pick in the draft, whatever it might be, you're not going to care.
No, especially looking at how the Texans have overachieved based on our expectations. And then you look at their remaining schedule, like I don't think that there are a lot of games left on their schedule that aren't winnable. They're pretty much every game is winnable. Even right now with the way the Bengals are playing, that game looks winnable for the Texans as long as CJ Stroud keeps playing the way he is and the defense keeps playing the way it is. And I'm glad you brought up Will Anderson's sack numbers, because that's one thing that I keep seeing all over the place is, well, he doesn't have the sack numbers. He doesn't have the sack numbers. And if you look at his blanket stats on a stat sheet or on a page, or you go to ESPN and you look at Will Anderson's stats, it doesn't look great. But if you dive into what he is doing, his pass rush win rate is 19%. He's towards the top of the NFL in pass rush win rate. D'Amico Ryans talked about it after the game against the Steelers and said, look, he's beating his guy. He's beating the blocks. He's just not taking the right angles in the path to the quarterback. So there are some adjustments and tweaks that need to be made, but at some point, that pass rush win rate and the things that Will Anderson's doing, it's going to translate to the sack numbers. It's going to translate to some of the other things, and he continues, even if it's not through sacks, he continues to affect the game on the field, recovering fumbles, forcing fumbles, almost running balls back for touchdowns, blocking kicks. He is affecting the game in a variety of different ways, both on the defense and in special teams. And I don't know how anybody looks at Will Anderson and says, well, he's not good because he doesn't have the numbers, when he is affecting the game in big moments time and time again.
And look, as long as they're getting Jonathan Grenard putting up sacks like he has, I mean, you're going to be okay. The pass rush exists, and that's something that's not been there for the football team for a very long time. We know that defensively they've just been a mess of garbage for a few years. It feels like they swarm the ball consistently. We'll see how teams adjust to it, because clearly blitzing is on their mind all the time. Being aggressive is D'Amico Ryan's style here. But I'm with you. I think the numbers for Will Anderson will show. I mean, look, I'm not saying he's J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt had like 5.5 sacks as a rookie. So if we're going to base everything, which is what we do in the media, I guess, or just as fans in general, as we freak out and go to numbers and do it, he's going to get his sack number.
He'll be fine.
If he has a 7-sack season as a rookie, he's going to be okay. I have no doubt, because I watched a ton of Alabama football. My wife going to Alabama. We don't miss Alabama games in my house. I watched Will Anderson play every weekend, and I was fascinated with him his entire college career, and I still am to this day to where I like C.J. Stroud. The numbers will be there because the guys are just too damn talented.
We have to be enemies this weekend because it's A&M Alabama weekend, so you and I are enemies for the rest of the week.
I'm going to bring a trident to the show and probably fight you.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I'm going to dodge it because I'm faster than you. Look, if the Texans continue on this trajectory, I've already said it. You've already tried to temper my expectations. In my mind,
you're on division winning.
They're winning the
already.
AFC South. If they continue on this trajectory with the way the defense has been called and played, with the way C.J. Stroud and Bobby Slowick has been calling this offense, they're winning the AFC South. How crazy on a scale of 1 to 10 do you think I am?
I mean, look, you're not at a 10 because the division isn't great. Like, that's just a fact. The division is still not great. The Colts, I do not believe in the Colts. I know that there's this Anthony Richardson, this, that, or the other. Like, I think they're making it very simple for him. I think defenses are going to do something that's going to stop him at some point. I still expect Trevor Lawrence and the Jags to play better football.
I do too.
I think it's been very interesting to hear what Doug Peterson's had to say down there about how they've kind of handled their expectations for this season. Maybe that they're not completely ready. Maybe they're a team that's kind of walking through the motions, expecting to be a good football team. And then the Titans, as long as Aggie boy, as long as Ryan Tannehill is playing.
My wife has a weird crush on Ryan Tannehill, so I'm kind of not a fan of his.
I don't think you're doing anything with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Derrick Henry can only take you so far before you're going to wear him out. He's getting too long in the tooth now. So it's not insane. And then you go look at the schedule. As you said, the schedule is winnable. The next 4 weeks against the NFC South.
Yeah.
You can win all 4 of those games against these teams. Those teams aren't any good. I don't care what their records say.
Yeah, it's to me the path is there. I think that's the big thing for me is that the path is there. But we'll see what happens with the Texans the rest of the season. Schedule looks good, but you can hear us just saying all the positive things on Connor and Beard 12 to 3 on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 every Monday through Friday. Go Texans.